So, have you ever found yourself staring out of the window at work, for the fifth time in a day and asking yourself, is this it? Is this what I've got to look forward to for the next 20 years? So, if you've ever had that moment and wondering why, if you're just sleepwalking through life and questioning your career choices or your routine, then this video is definitely for you. And before we get started, I just want to give you a quick stat. Did you know that over 60% of people over the age of 40 are questioning their career choices? Now, that's not a midlife crisis. That's actually a movement. I'm 43 years old and I'm currently on this journey myself. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what the difference is between having a midlife crisis and just simply waking up. So before we get started, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, show me some love, show me that you plus 40-year-olds are all listening to me and it's worth me doing what I'm currently doing right now. Okay, so part one, the signs that you're not having a midlife crisis. So, sign number one, you feel stuck at work. Now, we've all had bad days at work. Okay, I totally get that. You might have a bad week or a bad couple of weeks, but if you're feeling stuck at work for a prolonged period of time, for months or years, it's a sign that you're progressing. Okay. It's not a negative sign. It's a sign that you're outgrowing your current environment. Feeling stuck is not a character flaw. It's a sign of intelligence. It's your brain telling you that it's had enough. It needs change. So it's not a crisis. It's just growth. Okay. So it's perfectly natural. Okay. So sign number two, constant daydreaming about freedom. And be honest with yourself here. Have you ever calculated how many years left until you hit that retirement age? Okay, because I've done it many a times and it also makes me feel sick to my stomach. And I bet it does with you too. I am constantly thinking about being able to work remotely from home, getting up in the morning and having a cup of coffee with my family and walking my son to school and then coming back, going to the gym and doing some work after that. That is my ideal everyday routine. Or being able to, another one I like to fantasize about is being on holiday and working from a laptop on holiday. Okay, working from a nice, beautiful location by a lake or something like that, and just being able to work, drinking a cup of coffee or glass of wine, job done. And to start with, when I started feeling all of this, I thought I was just being ridiculous. It's never going to happen. This isn't how the world works. But then I learned daydreaming about freedom isn't escapism. It's your brain doing reconnaissance work about what actually you value and what's actually important to you. Sign number three, the 9 till 5 has lost its spark. Now, when I first started my 9 till 5 job, I used to be actually a little bit excited about going in. I used to actually enjoy having the routine and looking forward to what the day brought ahead. And I would also used to work extra hours. I would stay a little bit late just to get work done, and just to show that I'm willing. Over the last few years, I clock in at 7:30 and I leave at 4 o'clock on the dot. Like I say, it's lost its spark for me. I noticed that I'm just going through the motions now. I clock in, do my work, and then I clock out, rinse and repeat. And it's the same thing 5 days a week. The truth is, when something that used to energize you now drains you, that's not actually depression. A lot of people would think that's depression. It's not. It's actually data. It's data telling you that your values have changed, but your lifestyle just hasn't caught up to it yet. So sign number four, your side project gives you more life and enthusiasm than your job. Now, this one was a big one for me because when I finish my job, I'm back home by 5 o'clock. Now I feel energized. Okay. Sometimes I'll go for a run and other times I'll play with my son for an hour, have dinner, but I'm full of energy. I want to crack on with my app that I'm building and try and get as much work as possible done. When I'm learning new digital skills and doing content creation, I suddenly feel like I'm alive again. That's something that I don't feel currently when I'm at my 9 till 5 job. I feel like this is me now. This is who I'm supposed to be. So if you're like me and you find yourself suddenly becoming energized after 5 o'clock in the evening or whenever you're finishing work, and all you want to do is go and work on your side hustle, then I would argue that your side hustle is not a hobby. It's actually your future self trying to get your attention. So, what connects all of these signs? Well, they're not signs you're in a crisis, They're actually signs of your awakening. Just have a think about it. When you're 25, you would have taken any job that paid well. When you get in your 30s, you're trying to work your way up, the corporate ladder, try and impress your boss or whoever you want to impress. And then when you hit 40, you've done everything. You've pretty much reached the top of where you can in your career. It's very difficult to then progress after that point. So you don't need to prove yourself to anyone anymore. You know exactly what you're capable of. It's just you're asking different questions. You're not asking, how do I succeed? You're asking, how do I actually matter now? Not how do I get promoted, but how do I get fulfilled now? So these aren't the questions of someone having a midlife crisis or some sort of breakdown. They're the questions of someone wanting to level up. So if you're recognizing yourself from any of these signs, instead of asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Try thinking, what am I ready for? Okay, so part 2, the reframe. So let's talk about this midlife crisis thing, because I think society has got it completely wrong. So society has programmed us to thinking that if we're questioning ourselves at age 40 or above, then there must be something wrong with us, and we're expected to just push through it until retirement and just live with it and cope. But what if it's not a crisis at all? What if it's actually what's supposed to happen to us all? That relentlessness and that struggle that you're feeling, there's nothing wrong with you, okay? There's no emergency. It's just your authentic self just trying desperately to get your attention. Now, think about it from an evolutionary perspective. For most of human history, we didn't have the luxury of having career dissatisfaction. You were a farmer, you were a blacksmith, you did whatever your family did, okay? That's how it was. And you didn't have choices back then. But now we have options. We now have the ability to totally reinvent ourselves. So your dissatisfaction isn't a bug. It's actually your inner guidance system just working perfectly. So when you stop fighting these feelings and actually start listening to them, you'll realize that dissatisfaction is actually just information. It's your inner thoughts, your brain essentially telling you that you've outgrown your current environment and it effectively needs change. And for a good few months, I thought with my job that I needed to fix my attitude. I thought it was my problem. I'll just it's a phase. It will pass. I'll just keep my head down and carry on. But that's not right. And after realizing that it wasn't passing, it wasn't a phase, I worked out that it was actually work that was the problem and not my attitude. And I also want to add that you're not alone in this, okay? And it's an extremely isolating experience. And at the time, you'll be thinking to yourself that you're the only one going through this. But I can tell you now, you're not. And here's another little stat for you. According to the Harvard Business Review, the average person changes their career 12 times in their lifetime. And where do you think the spike comes in? Yep, you guessed it. Between 40 and 50 years old. So starting over in your 40s is not a disadvantage, okay? We've been over this in my previous videos. The feelings that you're feeling now are perfectly natural. It means that it's now time. It's supposed to happen. And I'm not going to go into this too much because, like I say, I've covered it in previous videos. You have more than a 20-year-old can offer, or a 25-year-old can offer, okay? They don't have perspective. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the experience. So you just got to remember that. So we need to stop calling it a midlife crisis, okay? Because it's not that. We're not having a crisis. We need to call it something more like a midlife awakening, because that is what it is. It's exactly what it is. You're having this period of a new thoughts, new perspective on life. You want to try new things. That's not a crisis, okay? You're being awoken to a whole life ahead of you, a whole different path, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so the final part 3, the path forward. So we've recognized the signs, and we've also changed the narrative of our story. Okay, we're not having a midlife crisis, we're having a midlife awakening. So we need to bridge that gap to where you are now and where you want to be. And the biggest mistake people make is that they quit their job tomorrow and decide that they're going to do something completely different, and then realize that, oh shit, I've got no income. What the fuck do I do now? I'm going to have to go back to work. So I don't advise that. Okay, I've covered that in a previous video as well. What we need to do is start building our exit plan whilst we're still working in our current job. So for me, I started learning about digital skills. I started learning about AI, no code tools, and just general social media and stuff like that. So why did I learn those? Well, because anyone can pick them up. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to learn how to talk to AI or learn how to use no code tools. Social media is for everyone, and we're moving into an even more digital age. Okay, that's one thing that is guaranteed. Tomorrow will be more digital than today. So it's just a natural progression to start learning how all of these digital tools work. And the good thing about the digital skills, of course, is that you can start them immediately. You don't have to order anything. You don't have to wait for something to arrive, unless you haven't got a laptop, obviously. But you can, even so, you can still do it on your phone. So, and pretty much everyone has access to a phone. I mean, if you haven't got an access to a phone, I mean, where the hell are you? And the other thing is that you can do it from anywhere in the world. You might live in Uganda or somewhere like that. If you've got your laptop, you can start learning your digital skills. That's the thing. It's so accessible for everyone, including people our age and people in their 70s and 80s. It's really a no-brainer. And when you start building something, your own app or websites or whatever you're doing, you need to experiment rather than thinking this is a new hobby. Because if you're experimenting, you can sort of analyze it at the end of the week or the end of the weekend, and when you're doing it, and just sort of tell yourself, did I enjoy doing that? Am I going to feel motivated doing this over the long run? And if so, then you know that path is for you. And leverage your skills. Chances are, if you're same age as me, you've got tons of skills. Okay, it doesn't have to be the most exciting thing in the world, but if you can build an app with pretty much any skill in the world. If you're a dog groomer, you can build a calendar for dog groomers, stuff like that. There's limitless options here. So the important thing is that you're proactive and you're doing something that you enjoy. And if you can leverage what you already know, then it's probably going to make it twice as quick for you. But the important thing is that you're getting enjoyment and fulfillment and you're motivated but you also need to recognize that this is not a quick fix. Okay, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. So you need to also redefine your success. I covered this in my last video. I will put a link in the description or above me in the next few minutes towards the end of the video. Yeah, you need to redefine your success. So essentially, if success means to you currently that you want to have a massive house with a 10-car garage and a holiday in the Bahamas 2 or 3 times a year, then you might need to redefine that. I mean, that might be achievable. You never know. But for me, my success looks completely different to that now. I wanted that when I was in my 20s, but now all I want is being able to work from home and being able to have more time to spend with my family, spend with my friends, and have some more disposable income so we don't have to worry about going on holiday or worry about if the boiler's going to pack up, which it always bloody does. And just things like that. That is redefining success. It just takes that stress out of life that to me is so important because I don't want to have to worry about that sort of shit anymore. And I'm pretty sure you don't either. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. I don't want to bore you all any longer. Okay, if you're still with me, fantastic. Well done. Cracking job. But look, I really hope you've got some value from this video. I think it's really important. Okay, it's you need to recognize these feelings quickly, and there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, I can't reiterate that enough. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. This is perfectly natural. I've shown you the stats that 60% of people are feeling like this. It happens to the majority of people, so you're not alone. But you have the choice. You have the option to act upon it, and hopefully, this guidance that I've given you in this video, hopefully you will be able to do that. And like I said, if you want to check out my previous video, which is 5 mindset skills that I've learned while so far on my journey, please check that out. Again, that was really helpful. It's completely changed the way I think, the way I've reframed success. So check that video out and enjoy the rest of your week. And I shall see you in the next video.